thought this time we'd do a lesson on in-camera flash or on-camera flash. Most cameras have a flash in them. It's a beginner's lesson. Well, not really beginner, but it's for the photographer that wants to move up a level into off-camera flash. So I'll show you the problems first of an in-camera flash and why I don't like them and why nobody likes them and the reason that we go into an off-camera flash. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. So let's get on. Right, now what we're going to do is we're doing this in the studio. Now the thing is exactly the same outside or inside. It just allows me to show you in a better way because the other light won't be changing at all. So we're only talking about flash. And I'm going to use as a model, because again they don't change, exactly these two little, rather nice little, they look good there. So I'm going to use this as the models. So here we've got a standard 35mm, standard DSLR with a pop-up flash. And as I said, it's exactly the same if your flash is incorporated in the body somewhere. It doesn't matter. So we take the picture and we'll have a look at the result. No, I hate it. Oh, look at that. That's an awful light. Now we've got to do something about that and change it. Now because the light's a lot too hard, as you know, there are probably lots of things you can buy, but you can put a piece of tracing paper or a handkerchief, anything you like over the flash and take a picture. Now there are lots of things you can buy to do that, but I can show you they do no good at all. Now believe it or not, that's with the softener, the handkerchief, a paper handkerchief over the lens. It's just no better, is it? So how do we solve this problem? Well, we've got to get a better flash, that's for sure. And that's the type of thing you need, which is a Canon speedlight, this particular one. I mean, for Nikon, there's a Nikon speedlight. And there are lots of other things on the market. So, but we'll handle all that in a different lesson. Now these speedlights, they sit on top of the camera with these electronic connections and they move in any direction you like. They go up and down, etc. So it enables you to do a totally different light. They've also got little reflectors and softeners built in. Now these contacts, they're called hot shoe, and they will send the message from the camera to the flash. So that just very simply slides on and will lock on like that. Now the flash, as I said, will move. Now if I shoot, the camera's on automatic, so if I shoot a picture like that, you'll see that the exposure is fine. Now if I bounce it off the ceiling, you'll see that the exposure is fine again, because it's all working it out all automatically. I mean, that's fantastically easy for people to use. Now I can bounce it off a wall as well. Now all this will give me a totally different light, and that's the big advantage of one of these. Now this is the photograph taken with the flash on the camera shining directly at the subject. Well, you can see what it does. It causes enormous shadows behind. It takes out all the texture of the dress. We can see certainly the name a lot better than we will be on another type, but I'm afraid that I hate it as a light. So we'll move on to the picture we did bouncing off the ceiling, and here it is. Now it's bouncing off the ceiling. We can see that because of the shadow under the head. The dress has got a lot more in it in the way of detail, and it's generally a nice type of light. It's a lot softer. Don't forget that if you're going to bounce a light off a ceiling, be careful of the colour of the ceiling. If you're inside and it's a red ceiling, you might have a big problem because the whole picture will go red. Now we look at the side light, which I prefer as a light. Look at the detail in the dress and how much better it is than the first shot. I think it just proves a point that an off-camera flash is very, very important. Now you're going to say, yeah, but I don't take pictures in a studio. But this will help you in every situation, outside as well as inside. If you're at a wedding, for example, and you've got a shadow under a hat, you can fire a little bit of a flash to fill in under the hat. But all that's for another lesson. But I just want to show you one more thing with these teddy bears. Now, I always prefer getting the flash off the camera, and I think most professionals will. In fact, I'm sure most professionals will. Now, what we can do that by adding a cable. Part of it will go onto the flash and the other end go onto the camera. Now that enables you to get it slightly off camera. These will exist in certain lengths. Now another way of doing it is by having a radio transmitter on top of the camera in place of where the flash would be if it was mounted, and a receiver at the flash end, and that will send a radio signal from one to the other. So that's pretty good. Now another way of getting it off the camera is very simply with a bracket. Now it fits on there like that, and it will send a message if you've got the right sort of bracket with an electronic connection. Other than that, there is another way, and that's with a normal cable. But if you use a normal cable, which I've got one lying around somewhere, there it is. So we've got a normal cable, and one end fits on the flash, and then the other end fits on the camera, and that will fire the flash when you press the button on the camera. The problem with it is, and this is where you have to be a bit more advanced, you have to have the camera on manual, and you have to have the flash on manual as well, and then you have to set your f-stop and your speed on the flash. It's not that difficult. Most flashes allow you to do it. So that's basically how to get a flash off the camera. Now I've connected it with a cable because that's the way I'd advise you to start, because the radio controls cost a lot of money. So what I would do is just take a picture like that with it out at arm's length, and I think you'll find that it's a lot nicer result. Now they sell, of course, an awful lot of modifiers that you can add to these lights. You can get soft boxes, umbrellas to reflect the light, and this type of thing, and I'll show you what that does, and you'll find that it'll just soften the light quite a lot. So let's have a look at that. Now this is the light, or the photograph done at arm's length with the flash directly onto the subject. We can see quite good detail in the dress. It's quite nice, and we can see all the little bits of fur. That looks good. Now let's compare it with the other one. Now that's the same picture but with the diffuser on. Now I think that's so much nicer. A lot softer, they look more cuddly. So if that hasn't convinced you to buy an off-camera flash, I don't know what will. But don't forget, the same thing happens outside. Now I do more lessons on using these flashes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and it's going to help you a lot with your flash. Subscribe to YouTube because we're going to do a lot more lessons. We've already done 50 or 60. So come and see us on mccaudle.com as well. You can see that written down there. So good luck with your photography, and see you soon. Cheers!